Hello, my beautiful friends. So, as I try to do every October, I try to talk about Samhain and the kind of holiday it is, and for the Celtic people, and try to demystify some of it. I know that different traditions practice different things. I think it's interesting that Denali is at the very same time as Samhain, and both festivals celebrate the you know, dark half to light half of the seasons, and and it is the new year, right? So I think that's interesting because I think there was a lot of fear in ancient cultures of that dark half of the year, the winter of life, because so much was at risk. Your livestock, your food supply, your family's welfare, and planting was over, and if you didn't have enough stored, it was hard to keep things going. And so Samhain is a fire festival, right? So in the ancient Celtic tradition, which goes back to Ireland thousands of years, but there's evidence that it existed far, far before that. There would be a huge fire festival, and it's considered the thinnest veil between the living and the dead. So you could call on your ancestors, and you would have a feast, a harvest feast, and you would, be thankful for the bounty. There's evidence that at the and I'll link a really good article below for you if you want to read up on this as well. Animal bones from animals that had been slaughtered were thrown into the fire. Everybody would extinguish their fires and then light their new fires from the bonfire, and that warmth, the light, and the heat from the fire was symbolic of making it through the winter. So I think in American culture, and I don't know how it is around the rest of the world, but I know at least here in the States, we've really grabbed on to the scary costumes and the scary movies and the scary, and the pumpkins and the evil and the skeletons and all that. That's only a really small part of Samhain, like a small part. So it's the thinnest veil between the living and the dead, and you wanted your ancestors to come back. You didn't want evil spirits to come, so you would want to trick them because your family would know you, but evil spirits wouldn't know you. So you would dress up in costumes to confuse the evil spirits so they wouldn't come. And then the tradition of giving soul cakes and soups and vegetables, you would give around, and at the dumb supper, if it's a quiet supper or an ancestor celebration, you would set a place for your ancestors, and you would put food on it, and then the food that was on it, you wouldn't throw that away, you would give that to the poor. And you would go door to door to your neighbors and share your harvest and share your treats. And so so the scary costumes are like a little part of it, but it's not. The focus was really on celebrating. And when you think about Celtic culture, as you know, because I've been reading the Carmina Galactica. It's quite a tome, big book, but Ceilidhs are a big part of Scottish culture. And a Ceilidh, we have them today, and they mean party. That's how we kind of interpret them. But really, the original Ceilidhs were, sort of literary events. You would go to somebody's house every night after your work for the day was done, and the women would be sewing or spinning or doing their thing, and the men would be talking, and then somebody would, it was an oral tradition, so somebody would recite a poem or sing a song. Some poems were like, 42 installments, and every night you had a different installment of the story. And so there was gathering every night. They gathered every night, and the communal aspects and the hospitality of the Scottish, especially in the outer in the Hebridean Islands, is historical. And certainly when I was in the Inner Hebrides, like the kindness and the hospitality, that is age old tradition. So so it wouldn't be far fetched for people to go door to door sharing what they had. It wouldn't You know, the costumes weren't meant to scare the living, they were meant to scare the dead and to confuse the dead. Really, not to scare them, because you can't scare the dead, but it was to confuse the evil spirits so they wouldn't come at you, so that your ancestors could pass through, so they could get to you. So I really feel like we lose a lot in the celebration of Samhain, because, you know, we focus on the sort of the Americanized, Hollywoodized version of Halloween. And not that that's not fun, but, you know, it's really a reverent holiday. It's really a somber holiday. And it's really a gratitude holiday for all the blessings that you've received during the light half of the year. And then being mindful as you move into the dark half of the year. So I just wanted to talk about the Samhain series. Every night I'm going to, or every night, I'm not going to do it every night because I'm busy, but every episode that I do in the Samhain series will focus on something that you can do. I'm not an arts and crafts person, so the crafts will be simple. And I don't do spells because I'm not a witch, but I will show some rituals and talk about ancestors and how to venerate them. And hopefully this will resonate with somebody. And if you have anything that you would like to know about, you'd like to ask about, please ask below, and I'll research it for you. And I will put a link to this great article that talks about Celtic Samhain. It's mostly about the Irish traditions, not necessarily the Scottish, but I'll be providing resources in each video like I try to do always. So I am wishing you all the very best light love as you prepare for Samhain, and be well. Take care. Bye-bye.